Hello, brothers and sisters. We are the brothers from the Gathering of Christ Church. It took us some time to finally put up this particular topic, but we wanted to make sure that it was well studied, well versed, and we'll take our time with this one. We need you to follow us. If you have a King James Version Bible, you'll need that. If you have a Josephus, you'll need that. You might have seen on a few of our videos us showing that the Negroes in America are in fact the true Jews. We went through many studies, and if you go to a few of our past clips, you can see, you'll know if you link up the precepts that the Negroes in America are in fact the true Jews. But we've been getting a lot of letters, some good, some bad. Some of the letters we receive, they say, how can you be the Jews when the Jewish people over there in America, the Jewish people over there in Israel today are the Jews? And they try to send us hate mail and things of that nature or what have you. And, we brush it off because, truth is truth and truth cannot be denied. So we're saying that to say that in order for us to prove this fact even further, we have to show you who we are not. Let's go into who we are not. Okay? We're going to use the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. We're going to use the Josephus, and we'll use the Bible. Now, this is profound history and bibliography and precepts. We'll also show at the very end of this lesson why they do not want you to learn this in the church. They'll tell you that it doesn't matter who you are, but yet part of the Christian doctrine is that the black people over here in America are suffering a curse of Cain or Canaan, which was written of in the Bible, the grandson of Noah. But so it's like they're rubbing you on both sides. On one side, they're telling you it doesn't matter, but subliminally in their churches and their institution, they're leading you to a people that were born to be slaves. We're going to show you that at the very end. Who are we not? Now, that's just the other religions and the people, but let's focus on our people for a second. Because the Negroes in America or abroad that are scattered, because you've been deprived of your identity, and you've been deprived of your heritage, you tend to pick up anything that shows any understanding that remotely will give you some identities, like some sense of purpose. So we have many people, especially here in America, who are looking into this Afrocentric religion now, or trying to get some type of belonging by saying, I'm from Africa. All right? You have some of our people going into the fact that, or they're saying that, I'm not going to say it's fact, they're saying that they're Egyptians. And ask you, have you seen the ISIS papers or the Egyptian Book of the Dead? But yet, they can't show us any proof how they are Egyptians. Right? They can relate to the slave ships and their parents coming over here in cargo slavery, but they can't go from Africa and show how their people ran from Egypt into Western Africa and to show what tribes they're from. But they'll hold on to Egyptology. Kemet. You have some people think that they are Ethiopians or what have you, but with no proof. Why do they think they're Africans? And why, when you say you're Africans, no one tried to argue with you? Why the whole earth will accept the fact that you will claim that you're an African with no pushback? Why? Because if you say you're that, you're nowhere close to the truth. You're going to find out today that you're actually, by saying you're African, you are totally away from your heritage, your understanding, and you're not a threat to this society, or, because you're right where they want you. They want you to think you're something outside of the chosen people of God. We're going to prove that. But first, we have some people thinking they're Egyptians and saying that the Egyptians have the greatest history on earth. We're going to show you why Egypt became so great. All right? Today you even have the West Indian style of Israel teaching. The Haile Selassie teaching, telling you that the Ethiopians are the Jews, right? We're going to see if that's a fact. And I'm perplexed with that, because how can Israel, which came out of the seed of Shem, be Ethiopians who came out of the seed of Ham? Two separate families. But someplace in history, Ethiopians thought that, for some reason, that they're Israel. All right? And because black people, I'm going to say black people, or so-called black people, have been deprived of national origin or understanding of themselves, they have picked up all these different philosophies and understandings. So you can have one family. Now all the blood, the same blood is going through all these people's veins in this house. You have the mother, father. They can have a few children. You can have the father who's following Egyptology. Same blood now. You can have the mother who's saying, I'm following Haile Selassie. You can have a child over here dealing with some African voodoo mess. And another one Afrocentric, dealing with something. All these the same family, but are dealing with all these different African philosophies. Because, quote unquote, I want to get away from, as they say, the teaching of the white man. But yet you're falling into the same trap. Because it wasn't just the white man that lied to you. Per se, if you're talking about the white man, you're going to find out the Africans lied to you. The East Indians lied to you. The Asians lied to you. It was not just a one-man conspiracy. Because in order for these nations to rule the earth, they had to come together and agree to enslave the children of Israel. How do we know that? Get Psalms 83. Let's start there. Psalms 83:1. Read that.
Keep not thy silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
The Lord says thine enemies make a tumult. That means all the enemies of the Most High. And how do you become an enemy of God? By following other gods. So all these nations that are following other gods have made a tumult, which means they have an uprising. They have come together and did what?
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against God's people. So they're up in these, we're at Psalms 83. They're up in these high buildings, they're UN buildings. And they're taking crafty counsel against God's people. Read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And they are consulting against the hidden ones. Now the hidden ones are the people that have no idea who they